Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Crimson. Today I'm bringing you guys a new video. This time it is going to be some more Fortnite, but before I get into the video, if you guys can hear that in my voice, I am recovering from a little bit of a cold. I was pretty sick this past weekend, but I'm feeling a lot better now, so if you guys do hear that in my voice, then my apologies. It kind of sucks being sick, but hopefully I can recover from it and get better soon. But today I actually wanted to talk about something that I don't think I've ever actually talked about within Fortnite on my channel, and that is going to be about instant edits on console. So I am a little late on this topic, seeing as instant edits have been on console for a few months now. It was added back a few updates ago, and it was probably one of the best updates to come to console. It was that update that added instant edits along with Builder Pro, not having to have a preview for every time you built something, and things like that. A lot of you guys may remember what I'm talking about, but it's been in the game for a few months now. So the gameplays that I have in the background are just a few solo wins where I'm actually using the instant edits, and these were some of my first few games using the instant edits. And honestly, I'm kind of a fool for not switching over faster, and I think one of the main reasons why was because I was kind of afraid that it would take me a while to get used to, but it actually only took me about maybe 2 or 3 days to truly get used to adding new binds to my controller to use instant edits, and it's really made a huge difference in the world overall. And it's pretty crazy if you think about editing on console and how much of a history it's had, because instant edits have been on PC since the game has come out. Obviously, all you have to do on PC is just bind your edit to a certain button on your keyboard and then you press it and it's instant. Whereas on console, we used to have to edit with circle, and it used to actually be very slow, and then they changed it around so that it was basically had a fast reaction time when you were using circle, but you still never had that actual instantaneous edit, and now we do, and we had it for a few months now. So I'm going to talk about how it can optimize your gameplay and maybe make you better, as it's made me a lot better overall at the game, and it's only been a few days now, and I can't wait to see how much it'll actually help in the future, say maybe a few weeks from now, where I'm even better and overall. So let me talk about how it can benefit you guys. So personally for me, I feel like I was never really the greatest builder in Fortnite overall. I felt like I was pretty good a few months back, and then I felt like I kind of fell off, and I felt maybe the reason was because of the fact that I wasn't playing enough, and not because of the fact that I didn't have instant edits or anything like that. But I feel like ever since I switched over to actually adding instant edits to my actual gameplay, I feel like I have so much more confidence. Now, this isn't actual gameplay tips, this is more of a mindset and mentality tip, but keep in mind that mindset and mentality really helps and can really optimize your gameplay overall and really improve you as a player, because obviously you have to have a good mindset in order to get better at a video game. And I feel like ever since I switched over to it, like I said, I feel like I have so much more confidence as a builder and as an editor, and they're somewhat different when it comes to building and editing, but at the same time they kind of go hand in hand together. So before I had instant edits on, I felt like I wasn't really the greatest builder. I felt like I was losing a lot of high ground fights, and I felt like I just couldn't really hang and build fights very often. Even if I was better than a certain player, I just felt like I was still dying often, or even losing fights, losing high ground, losing build fights, not building fast enough, something like that. Often it is more than just one reason as to why you're losing a build fight, but I felt like I just wasn't very confident in my build fights at all, or in my editing, because of the fact that I was using circle as my edit button. Now, you can still edit really quickly with circle. If a lot of you guys are still using circle to edit, you guys may be OG players and you just choose not to use any binds on your controller to edit with, you can still edit really quickly. There is a little basically slider on your settings, and I'll show it on screen now, where you can basically have it as fast as you want it to be as a reaction. But the problem with that is you're still having to hold circle for about maybe half a second or so. It's still very, very fast, but that half a second can make a difference. Fortnite is such an extremely fast game nowadays. Players have gotten better and better, so you really have to have the fastest reaction time possible. And when you're editing with circle, it takes a while to get used to when you're trying to edit, because of the fact that it just isn't as fast as an instant button. So I feel like that's one of the main tips that instant editing can help you with, is the fact that overall it can just have you much more confident. It can give you a better mindset, because I felt like I already knew the tricks to get better at building. I knew, some key tips that a lot of really great players used, even some pro players, and you guys will see in these gameplays, I'm not even really using those tips. I'm just kind of playing casually. I'm not really using any, pyramids to edit through, or any like scissor steps or anything like that. I'm just basically playing normally. I'm just using ramps and double ramps with walls, and ramps, floors, and walls, some stuff like that. Just, things that have been in the game for a while, and I felt like I was overall much more confident. So that's one thing that can help optimize your gameplay when using instant edits, is mindset and mentality, and it will really help you be much more confident in your build fights. So the next thing that can benefit you overall in your gameplay when using instant edits is it can really help you get out of a sticky situation fast, and it can also basically give you incentive to have creative and skillful edits when in build battles. So when you're using circle to edit with, obviously you can make it fast like I said, but it's truly not as fast as it can be with an instant edit. And when you're using instant edits, you can really get out of a sticky situation fast. Say you're boxed up and you need to get somewhere quickly, you can use the instant edits to get out of there as fast as possible, whereas with holding down circle, even as fast as you make it as you want it to be, you're still not gonna get out of there as fast as possible. So that's one key thing right there that's definitely gonna help, is just being able to get out of a sticky situation fast. I can't count how many times I've tried to basically edit out of a box when I was using circle, and then I kind of was just standing there with my blueprints out because I just kind of messed it all up. And then I accidentally found myself dead just a few seconds later because I basically didn't finish the edit properly. And I had really bad technique when I was editing with circle, whereas with using the instant edit, now it's just so much faster because it's actually a different button. When you're using the same button to build and edit with on console, maybe on PC it's the same thing, I'm not entirely sure, but I know most PC players don't use the same button anyway, so this is really just regarding console. When you're using the same button to edit and build with, that's going to be a problem because sometimes you'll find yourself in a sticky situation where you're just kind of standing there with your blueprints out and you eventually die because of the fact that you couldn't edit properly. So that's why instant edits are so helpful, because you can get out of a sticky situation fast. And I also mentioned that it really gives you the incentive to have much more creative edits, and it can really help make you much more of a skillful editor as well. In some of these gameplays that you guys are going to be watching in the background, this is still like really nothing. Like, this was only maybe the second or third day that I was actually using these binds on my controller. I'm actually using the right button on my D-pad. If you guys are familiar with that on the PlayStation 4, that's the button that I use to edit with. You guys can probably see it in the gameplay in the background, and actually that's the one I'm most comfortable with. I know a lot of players like to use other buttons. There's some pro players that like to use the touchpad on the PlayStation 4, which is basically like the middle button. Some players like to use the analog sticks, and they just like to bind the sprint button to another button on their controller. And some people like to use triangle, or some people like to use A or X. You guys have probably seen so many different types of combinations, and that's what's actually really cool about a controller, is because of the fact that obviously, you know, a mouse and keyboard, you have so many different buttons to use, but on a controller you actually have a lot of options as well. So that's what's really cool about it. So you can find yourself your perfect button that you feel most comfortable with, and it'll make it a whole lot easier. So like I said, it really gives you the incentive to be skillful and creative as well. You guys probably saw in the very beginning, I was facing a pretty newbie player in Dusty Divot, and basically I was just able to edit windows instantly. So I'm not saying that I'm going up against, you know, really skillful players or anything like that, you know, high top tier players or anything like that, but I'm still, you know, facing decent players, and I'm really catching them off guard as well. You guys will be able to see that with these edits. It's really creative, I guess you could say. I know I mentioned that a few times already, but you can often just catch players totally off guard. And I may even show you guys a few clips where I've been in build battles and it seemed like I was going to die, and then I was just able to really kind of finesse the player by being on top of them or being beside them, and they had no idea, and I was just able to edit a window or maybe edit through a floor instantly and then just really surprise them, and then I was able to actually finish them off and win the fight, which seems like I was never able to really do that with using just circle as my edit button. So that's one of the other reasons why instant editing can help you so much overall. So definitely try it out. I'm gonna have another video on this in the future. This one was just kind of a quick commentary topic, but I kind of want to change up my video style to have much more of a I guess understanding when I'm talking about tips and tricks, rather than just having, you know, a gameplay or two in the background. I'm gonna actually have many more clips in the background, which actually showcases what I'm talking about, where I can really maybe help you guys out and maybe have a more entertaining type of video style. So that was just kind of what I wanted to talk about for today. I know I mentioned the words instant edits a lot in this video, but what else am I going to say? So sorry for that if I mentioned it a lot, but this was my first video back in a few weeks and I'm sick, so my apologies if I wasn't really, you know, on point with the commentary or anything like that. But like I said, try these out. It really helps an absolute ton, and it doesn't take a while to get used to either. I thought it was going to take a while. That was one of my fears, but it really is easy to get used to. So that's it for the video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy overall. If you guys did, definitely be sure to leave a like, and I'm out. Peace.